Hare Krishna. Hello friends, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. This is Ritendra. I am preacher of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and today on the birth anniversary of Dr. Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar, I am going to talk about his ideology and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is a combined lecture, this is a comparative lecture. How would Dr. B.R. Ambedkar follow Srimad Bhagavad Gita and each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in which Lord Krishna stated about egalitarian society, about equality of mind and equality of the soul. This is how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar follow in his ideology and while making the Constitution of India. So this is what I am going to talk. But before I start my lecture, I would like to introduce Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is written by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Mahaprabhupada from ISKCON temple. And I would have to say Srimad Bhagavad Gita is neither religious book nor spiritual book, but in true sense pure book, the science and humanity. And I am trying to propagate a humanity on the basis of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and trying to morally motivate to those people who are actually frustrated and attempted to commit suicide on the basis of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So let's get into about this particular thing, about the ideology of Dr. Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar. Ideology of Dr. Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's legal expertise and also knowledge of the constitutions of the different countries was very helpful in the framing of the Constitution of India. Actually, he studied each and every country's constitution in order to form the Constitution of India, and he became a chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution Assembly and play eminent role in the framing of the Indian constitutions. Article number 32. Actually, among others, the most important contributions were in the area of the fundamental right, strong central government, and also protection of minority. And he talked about each and every person. He talked about the rights of minority. He talked about right to speech and expression. No one should have to suppress. Each and every person has a right to speak. Each and every person has a right to silence. Right to silence and right to speak, he actually revoked. He actually understand. He actually put in the Constitution of India. Article number 32 is known as a mini Constitution of India, in which he guaranteed the judicial protection to the fundamental right. Article number 32 is also known as the, without Article number 32, right to remedies, there is no possibility to protect the fundamental right of each and every citizen of India. This is only reason why Article number 32 is known as a mini Constitution of India. So Article number 32 guarantees our judicial protection to the fundamental right, which makes them meaningful. And Article number 32 was the most important article of the Constitution and soul of the Constitution and very heart of the Constitution. Article number 32 is also very heart of the Constitution. So actually he talked about rights, the fundamental rights, actually put all the fundamental rights. But what if the violation of the fundamental right, what we have to do when the fundamental right have been violated? At that time he put Article number 32 and clearly mentioned right to remedy. And he clearly appellate tribunal, appellate about the quo warranto, many things he actually put. And also quasi judiciary, means this structure is quasi judiciary, quo warranto as well, mandaments, many things he actually mentioned in the Constitution of India about the right to remedy whenever the fundamental right have been violated. He supports strong central government, and actually this concept actually he took from the from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. How? Actually, when each and every provinces, I'm talking about what was the situation before battle of Mahabharata, and what was the reason for the battle of Mahabharata. Means there were many janpadas, many provinces, many things are there, many provinces were there at that time. Lord Krishna stated each and every provinces, each and every king in each and every kingdom actually associated with a particular adharma or irreligious practices. Like there is no even single king of any kingdom, actually who associate with dharma. So the unity of entire janpadas were required, and actually in order to make mahajanpadas and unity of the entire provinces, and this is why the battle of this particular thing, unification of janpadas, is known as a battle of Mahabharata. So Lord Krishna stated the center must be strong. The center point, which is administrating each and everything, must be very strong. So this is what Lord Krishna stated in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And Lord Krishna believed the center, the ruling administration must be very strong, and it must be administrated at a one point, at a one center. So because of this particular thing, the battle of Mahabharata, in order to unification of all the different janpadas, separated and isolated janpadas, the battle of Mahabharata was fought, and he supported a strong central government, and he was afraid that casteism is a more powerful at the local and provincial level. He actually talked about the casteism is a more powerful at the local level and also provincial level. So he talked about the center. If the center is strong, then province and local level we can easily rule out. We can easily eradicate the caste-based discrimination. So he actually proposed, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir proposed to make a very strong center, and the government at this level might not protect the interests of the lower caste under the pressure of upper caste, and the national government is less influenced by this pressure, and they will ensure the protection of the lower caste. So this is only reason why actually Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir proposed a strong center. I am talking about his work, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar sir's work, his contribution in the Indian, while making of the Constitution of India and in a modern India, is known as architect of modern India because of his architect of Constitution of India, is architect of law. And without law we can't do any kind of administration. So democratic rule, one man one vote, this is the rule of democratic country or the democratic nation. The democratic rule of the one man one vote is not sufficient, and minorities should be guaranteed the share in the power. He was against the majoritarian syndrome, and provided many safeguards in the constitution for the minorities. He provided many safeguards for the minorities, for the lower caste, for the outer caste people. He actually talked about many things. And constitutional morality, actually he believed in the moral and values and ethics. Even he was strongly object against caste-based discrimination. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's perspective, constitutional morality would mean effective coordination between the conflicting interests of the different people and administrative cooperation. Actually, constitutional morality, each and every person must have to follow the Constitution of India and actually believe the administrative cooperation. If any discrimination or any kind of the issue has been raised, the administrator must have to support. Administrative cooperation must has required to understand and also resolve the particular dispute and also eradicate the caste-based discrimination. And this particular constitutional morality which help to resolve the conflict amicably without any confrontation among the various groups working for the realization of their end at any cost. We don't have to pay any cost. So moral values and constitutional morality will help to avoid the conflict or resolve the conflict amicably without any confrontation. According to him, for India, where the society is divided on the basis of the caste, religion, language and other factors, a common moral compass is needed. Common moral compass. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is needed. We are associated with each and every person because of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I have seen that. I have if I would preach Srimad Bhagavad Gita, many different castes, different community, many people would like to associate with me and stand with me because I am follower of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and I am following. And actually, I am preaching because Srimad Bhagavad Gita make all of us understand and also united and also associated with each other. And the same things will definitely do the Constitution of India. The Constitution will definitely make all of us associate with each other. So this is how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir stated. And common moral compass. This is a common moral compass. This is a common moral compass and playing a vital role for the unification of the each and every community in the society. There is no unity in the society. There is no dharma in the society. If there is no dharma in the society, even there is no Lord Krishna situated with the society. Lord Krishna is situated at where there is a unity. Democracy means the thought of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir about democracy, and he had complete faith in democracy. While the dictatorship may produce a quick result, it can not be valid form of the government. He stated dictatorship can produce a quick result, but it's not valid for the government. And democracy is superior as it enhanced the liberty, and he supported the parliamentary form of the democracy. He supported parliamentary form of the democracy while allied with other national leaders, coalition government, collaborations. Actually, he talked about parliamentary form of the democracy. He stated dictatorship will definitely kill the entire government and each and every human being, even kill the liberty. But the democracy will protect the liberty of each and every person. Even Lord Krishna stated, I have given equal liberty to each and every human being, each and every soul. But the whether move on the right path or wrong path, move on the dharma path or the adharma path, it has only been decided by the particular soul. And the ultimate decision of the particular soul will never be changed by anyone. And unless the soul is not decided to bring a change in her life or his life, even Lord Krishna come on this earth and he will fail to change in the particular soul. So this is what Lord Krishna stated. So this is how this much liberty has been granted by Lord Krishna to each and every human being. So democracy which protect the liberty of each and every human being. This is what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir stated. He emphasized democracy as a way of life. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir stated democracy is a way of life, and democracy not only the political sphere but also the personal, social and economical sphere. He actually put a 3 dimension of democracy: social, economical and also personal. Social, economical and also individual. For Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir, democracy must bring a drastic change in the social condition of the society. Democracy which bring a drastic change in the social condition of the society, and otherwise the spirit of political democracy, one man and one vote would be missing. One man and one vote would be missing. This is the spirit of democracy. This is the soul of the democracy. Which is the soul of democracy? The one man, one vote. The social dimension, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir focus on economical dimension also. Actually, he believed if you really want to uplift yourself socially, then you have to change. You have to uplift yourself economically. Economically, social, both are associated with each other. This is what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir stated. That's why he brings social reform on the basis of economical reform. Listen it very carefully. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir bring a social reform on the basis aligned with the economical reform. Without economical reform, there is no possibility of social reform. In a social reform, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir had devoted to his life to remove the untouchability. Untouchability. Under Article number 17 of the Constitution of India, prohibition or eradication of the untouchability like a practices, prohibition of untouchability. He believed that the progress of the nations would not be realized without removal of untouchability. He clearly stated the progress of the nation would not be realized without removing the untouchability. While means the abolition of the caste system in the totality, he studied the Hindu philosophical tradition and made a critical assessment of them. And actually, he actually made a critical assessment on Manu Samhita, and untouchability is a slavery of the entire Hindu society. He clearly stated, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir clearly stated, untouchability is a slavery of entire society. And while untouchables are enslaved by caste Hindus themselves live under the slavery of religious culture. Even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir used the particular word, the people for the untouchable. He used Harijan. Hari means God, Lord Vishnu. Jan means people, the people of Lord Vishnu. That's why he use Harijan word. Hari means Lord Vishnu, and Jan means people, the people of Lord Sri Hari Vishnu. This is why he used this word for untouchable. Mahatma Gandhi used this word for untouchable. That's a Harijan. And the emancipations of the untouchable leads to the emancipations of the whole Hindu society. Even Lord Krishna stated. Lord Krishna stated in chapter number 4? Lord Krishna here clearly stated, Chaturvana Maya Srushta Guna Karma Vibhagasya Madhav Madhusudan Mukunda Murari. Here clearly stated, Chaturvana Maya Srushta Guna Karma Vibhagasya Tasya Karma Api Tatya Karma Avyamaha. Means Chaturvana Maya Srushta. Here Krishna stated verse number 13, 1-3. Chapter number 4. Here Krishna Vasudev Yadav. Here Madhusudan Mukunda Murari. Here stated Chaturvarna Maya Srushta Guna Karma Vibhagasya Tasya Karta Api Ma Vidya Karta Avyama. Ma Vidya Karta Avyam. Ma Vidya Karta Avyam. This is what Lord Krishna stated. According to the three mode of material nature, according to karma, not on the basis of the birth, I have created for division of the society on the basis of the karma, not on the basis of the birth. Anybody can be Brahmin on the basis of karma. If I born as a SC/ST family, then if I start to preach Srimad Bhagavad Gita and start to teach Vedic literature to the other people, then I can be Brahmin. And if I control my mind, my senses, then I can be Brahmin. So this is what Lord Krishna stated. Anybody can be Brahmin, anybody can be Kshatriya, anybody can be Vaishya on the basis of the karma, not on the basis of dharma, not on the basis of the birth. Dharma doesn't mean birth, dharma means karma, perform your prescribed duty. Even Lord Krishna stated verse number 8, chapter number 3, Karma Yoga. Here Krishna stated, नियतम कुरु कर्म त्वाम कर्म जाया ही अकर्मणः शरीर यत्र भी जाते न परिसद्यते न तु अकर्मण. Here Krishna stated, perform your prescribed duty. Working is better than not working, and no one can maintain his or her physical body without performing his duty. No one can maintain his or her physical body without performing his duty, without performing his karma. So even Lord Krishna further stated, perform only your prescribed duty or dharma. Another name of dharma is prescribed duty. Perform your prescribed duty or dharma. However, you are unable to perform your own prescribed duty. You are able to do it very badly. Even then you have to perform your prescribed duty. Rather than you can betterly perform prescribed duty to other. Only and only you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. This is what Lord Krishna stated. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir believed that economic and political issue must be resolved only after achieving the goal of the social justice. Economical and political, both issues can be resolved after achieving the goal of the social justice. Social justice, the term, listen it very carefully, social justice. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir talked about social justice. The idea that economic progress will lead social justice and ill-founded as a casteism is an expression of the mental slavery of the Hindus. The mental slavery, हमारी मानसिक गुलामी है, mental slavery. And for the social reform, casteism has do away with it. in order to bring a social reform, we just have to eradicate the caste-based discrimination, casteism. Here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir stated about casteism. Social reform consists of the family reform and also religious reform. The social reform has a two dimension: the family reform and religious reform. The caste systems has made a Hindu society stagnant, which create a hurdle in the integrations of the outsider. Even eternally Hindu society fails to satisfy the taste of the homogeneous society or egalitarian society. Egalitarian society and homogeneous society. Even Lord Krishna stated. Lord Krishna here stated, verse number 29. Here Lord Krishna stated, समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषन्ति न मे प्रियः. Here Krishna, Vasudev, Yadav, here Madhusudan, Mukunda, Murari stated, समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषन्ति न मे प्रियः. यो भजन्ति तु मम भक्तानि महिते तेषु चाप्य. यो भजन्ति तु मम भक्तानि महिते तेषु चाप्य. Here Krishna stated, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am neither partial with anyone nor envy with anyone. I am equal to each and every human being. I am equal to all. Here Krishna Vasudev stated, I am equal to all. But who renders the service unto me in the devotion is a friend, is in me, and also I am also friend to him. The person who has rendered his service in my devotion, that particular person is very dear to me. I am neither partial nor discriminated with anyone. All people, each and every living entity is equal to me. Even Lord Krishna is not making any kind of discrimination on the basis of the birth. Then who the hell we all of us to make a discrimination on the basis of the caste, on the basis of the birth? For the Hindu society, if you are real Hindu, if you are true Hindu, then try to eradicate the caste by discrimination, because Lord Krishna has not allowed this kind of Hinduism. Lord Krishna believes Sanatan Dharma, the eternal religion, in which there is a equality in the society, there is a equal rights to each and every human being. Each and every person has a right to come forward. No one has to deny for their rights. This is very sinful activities, and this kind of sin will never pardoned by Lord Krishna. This kind of sinful activities will never pardoned by Lord Krishna. So samoham sarva bhutesu nami dveshanti nami priyah o bhajanti tu mama bhaktani mahite tesu chapyah. This is what Lord Krishna stated. Lord Krishna further stated, mahi partha vyapastitah e abhispuyo पाप योने है. पाप योने, चाहे उस व्यक्ति ने पाप योनि में जन्म लिया हो, चाहे वो व्यक्ति स्त्री वैश्य तथा शूद्र हो, वो सभी परम गति में यांति परम गति में अवसान पृथा. Those who has taken my shelter, who take a shelter in me, जिसने मेरी शरणागति ले ली है, and those though they be lower birth, woman, वैश्य and शूद्रस, can attain the supreme destination. पाप योनि, जिनका जन्म पाप योनि में भी हुआ है ना, वो व्यक्ति मेरी परम गति प्राप्त कर लेंगे. That person will surely get to me. So Lord Krishna stated, people can be a good, people can be a great on the basis of karma, not on the basis of the birth. Listen very carefully. No one can be Brahmin on the basis of the birth. No one can be Vaishya tata Sudra and also Satriya on the basis of the birth. But on the basis of karma, on the basis of the prescribed duty the particular person has performed, the particular person can be a great. I can also be a Brahmin. I can also be Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras on the basis of my karma, not on the basis of my dharma. मेरा फादर जो मतलब सपोज मेरा फादर क्षत्रिय है तो मैं भी क्षत्रिय हूँ. दिस इज नॉट राइट थिंग. दिस इज नॉट गुड प्रैक्टिसेस. वी जस्ट हैव टू इरेडिकेट दिस काइंड ऑफ द प्रैक्टिसेस. इवन लॉर्ड कृष्णा हैज नॉट अलाउड. लॉर्ड कृष्णा क्लियरली स्टेटेड, समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषन्ति न मे प्रियः यो भजन्ति तु मम भक्तानि महिते तेषु चाप्यः. I am equal to each and every human being. I am neither partial with anyone nor discriminating with anyone. Each and every human being is equal to me, and I am dwell in the heart of each and every human being. This is what Lord Krishna stated. That's why Lord Krishna stated, सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्यन्ते मामेकं शरणं व्रजः अहं तं सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुलः. Abandon all the religious practices and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you salvation and make you free from your all kind of sinful activities. Make you free from your all kind of sinful activities. So, Parth, you don't have to fear, just surrender to me. But before that, you just have to surrender unto me. Then you can see the changes in your life. Then leave everything upon me. I will definitely reward you according to your karma. This is what Lord Krishna stated. And about the fact sheet, when we talk about Bahishkriti Hitkarini Sabha, Outcast Welfare Association, Bahishkriti Hitkarini Sabha, the Bahishkriti, the people who are boycotted, Bahishkriti, Hitkarni, the welfare, Hitkarni matlab welfare, and Sabha means association, the outcast, the boycotted welfare association, which was devoted to spreading education and culture among the downtrodden. He actually talked about downtrodden. He actually talked about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar talked about downtrodden and also depressed people. And actually he tried to uplift the depressed people and downtrodden because he born in the particular caste, and he actually suffered lots because of his caste, because of this untouchability, because of the caste-based discrimination. That's why he was aware about the particular pain and this kind of the mentality. If you are poor by economically, then you can easily it will not affect to your mind, it will not affect to your social your poverty, which actually casteism. When I talk about casteism, actually it will rather worsen than the poverty, economical crisis, because the mental effect of casteism will never gone. It will definitely long lasting throughout the life. It will never gone. So we don't have to make this kind of caste based discrimination. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar attended all the 3 roundtable conference, and in the roundtable conference he talked about untouchable, the right of untouchable. Actually that's why he actually put a Pune Pact signed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir and Mahatma Gandhi. The Pune Pact, certain number of the seats were reserved specifically for the depressed class. He actually stated in Pune Pact. In Erwada jail, Mahatma Gandhi protested on a communal award, the communal award. So he actually signed a Pune Pact. In Pune Pact, he stated the separate electorate and also certain number of the seats were reserved specifically for the depressed class. And Independent Labour Party actually talked about Labour Party, and actually he talked about Buddhism. In Buddhism and Dharma, actually in Buddhism, each and every person is equal. There is a violence, there is a non-violence. And Lord Buddha actually considered as an incarnation Lord Krishna. So here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir was reading about Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and actually he stated, I have learned many things from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and I do believe in that dharma which actually make all of us learn about equality and equal rights to each and every human being. This is called true dharma. This is called eternal dharma. Even Lord Krishna stated this kind of dharma. Eternal dharma or Sanatan dharma. Lord Krishna always talked about Sanatan dharma. This kind of Hindu, not fake Hinduism. This kind of Hinduism is a fact. Because if there is a discrimination on the basis of the caste, there is a discrimination on the basis of the birth. This kind of Hinduism is a fake Hinduism. The true Hindu will never make any kind of discrimination. True Muslim will never make any kind of discrimination. True Christian will never make any kind of discrimination on the basis of the caste, on the basis of the religion. So this kind of Hinduism which make all of us learn to make a discrimination on the basis of the caste, the particular person is lower because of his birth, the particular person is upper because of his birth. So this kind of lower and upper, this kind of discrimination is not characteristics of Hinduism. The true Hinduism is this current Hinduism is a fake Hinduism, and we must have to talk about Sanatan Dharma, the eternal Dharma, in which there is a egalitarian society. The eternal Dharma, the particular person must have to perform his prescribed duty for each and every human being. If I born as a Kshatriya, not born. If I would protect the society as a Kshatriya, then I have to perform. I would consider myself as Kshatriya. If I started to teach Vedic culture, Vedic literature, and also other Vedic sculpture to the people, then I can be Brahmin. And the particular person who started occupation like farming and all things, that particular person is also known as a Vaishya. And the particular person who has started a cleansing work, then the particular person has known as a Sudra. So we don't have to make any kind of discrimination. Listen it very carefully. Chaturvarna maya srushta guna karma vibhagasya. Guna and karma, the particular quality and also particular duty or karma, I have divided. Lord Krishna clearly stated, I have divided this society in a 4 division on the basis of the quality, on the basis of the quality of the person as well as the karma, the prescribed duty karma of the particular person. I have created this particular society and divided particular society in a 4 division on the basis of the karma and on the basis of the particular qualities of the particular person. So this is how I have tried to relate it Srimad Bhagavad Gita and also the particular thoughts, particular ideology of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir. So there were many things about the economic progress, about the educations, about the conversions, many things, many ideologies are there. So I just have to sum up these all things, because Dr. B.R. Ambedkar raised a voice against all kind of injustice, and the particular person who actually stand for the rights of each and every human being, like Sai Baba actually preached Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Quran Sharif to make Hindu and Muslim together at one place, and for Hindu Muslim unity. The particular person who has worked for Hindu Muslim unity, for the unity in the society, that these all things, these all person are known as the incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna, because Lord Krishna took a birth to united all the Janpadas, and that's why the battle of Kurukshetra is known as a Mahabharat. So this is why the battle of Kurukshetra is known as a Mahabharat, because unification of all the Janpadas. So the particular person who work for the society, the particular person who work for each and every human being's welfare, that particular person is known as the incarnation of Lord Krishna. समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषन्ति न मे प्रियः यो भजन्ति तु मम भक्तानि महिते तेषु चाप्यः यो भजन्ति तु मम भक्तानि महिते तेषु चाप्यः. हे वासुदेव, हे कृष्ण, कृष्ण stated, I neither envy nor partial with anyone, I am equal to all. But the person who has rendered his services in my devotion, that particular person is very dear to me. So we all have to worship Lord Krishna and follow Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And how would Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir follow Srimad Bhagavad Gita? Actually, he implemented Srimad Bhagavad Gita in order to eradicate or abolition of untouchability and abolition of the caste-based discrimination, as well as the social reform. He talked about social justice. He talked about economical justice. He talked about the political justice. Actually, social justice is a cardinal of the economical and also political justice. So this is how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sir believed, and this is how I have tried to relate it with Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I hope you all can understand. If you are having any questions, any doubt, then please kindly put a comment. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.